live and good to go. So today, our spicy hot take to kick things off, we got Mandy Thompson, co-founder and CEO of Digital Reach Online Solutions, talking about your ABM strategy is outdated.
Thanks for having me here. Well, I guess I'll jump right into it since we don't have a ton of time and there are so many things we could talk about, but we'll keep it short. So, here we are with the session. Your ABM strategy is outdated. It probably is, and I'm going to tell you why in just a few slides and a tiny bit of additional information about me. There's an interesting fact that before starting or before really building up this company, I was aspiring to become a professional beach volleyball player. So I love playing competitive beach doubles in my off time, which I don't always have a ton of these days, but when I do, I enjoy playing and watching the game. Okay, so where does this come from? Why am I focused on this topic? I'm very passionate about account-based marketing, account-based sales, and really account-based experience because I think that for many B2B organizations, it's the best way to engage with their customer. But so many organizations get it wrong. I've worked with SMBs, mid-market, enterprise. I've worked in different verticals and industries. I've worked in professional services. I've worked with SaaS companies, manufacturing companies. And no matter what size or type of company I work with, there are several things that cause their strategies to be outdated. Okay, so the first one we're going to cover is lack of alignment, right? And when we say all revenue teams, oftentimes when we talk about ABM or revenue operations, well, everybody says that, customer success is a part of that. Oftentimes all of the focus ends up going on sales and marketing. So when we say all revenue teams, we really mean that. And that isn't just even the sales, marketing, and CS team. It can be your onboarding team, anybody who at some point is going to have contact with your customer, right? And so getting aligned around ICPs and really understanding who it is you're reaching. I know that sounds pretty basic, but with so much intent data, install data, firmographic data available and at our fingertips through a number of tools and technologies, we can actually be on very different pages. So that's like a base level, like how do we make sure our strategy is good? Well, we're all rowing in the same direction, right? And then we have our goals and what success means. And so one team might be thinking, okay, well, our goal right now is we want to get more accounts in front of sales. And it's like, okay, but that's not enough information. We need to know at what point do we want to get them in front of sales? And what does success mean? Does success mean that we built a buying committee, that we had an initial phone call, that we have revenue in the pipeline, that we're expanding our contracts, that we're retaining, that we're reducing churn? And so what is the success of this program? And where we see a lot of failure and where we are outdated is that we're focused a lot on ABM only and not focused on that handoff to ABS. And so, okay, great. We have now engaged an account. We've got our air cover. We have all of these campaigns running. It's beautiful, but is sales getting people at the right time? What is the right time? Is everyone on the same page about what that is? So this is another way that we see a lot of ABM strategies outdated. And then again, they were not focusing on ABX, and that's a more emerging term. ABM and ABS have been around for a very long time, but ABX, how do we look at this as an overall customer experience? And as I mentioned, all of those revenue teams, how can we think about the entire account, not just for marketing and getting them engaged and aware of our brand and our services, and then working through the sales process and handing them over to CS, but how do we think about, like, if somebody who is currently engaged with our product, they're visiting certain pages on our website, how do we make sure that their needs are met? How do we make sure if a new team is reaching out that we help to align the teams within that organization or the business units within that organization that might not be aware of one another's activities, right? So when we think about ABM, we've got to think bigger. And that's why I say most strategies are outdated, because they're just thinking about that marketing component. If they're slightly more advanced, they're onto that sales component, but the full ABX is a place where a lot of companies and organizations are behind. So what we often see is that we all try to throw tech at our problems, right? I've been guilty of it. We've all been guilty of it. But the thing is, it doesn't fix an alignment problem. And alignment usually starts with definitions and strategy, right? And what I mean by that is if we're thinking about, okay, marketing's running an ABM. And so we have top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom funnel, or maybe we're focusing on it based on life cycle stage. All right. So what is the definition of a buying committee? How many people with buying roles, or which buying roles need to be at what funnel stage or at what life cycle stage? How are we defining that? Is it lead score? Is it behavior? Is it engagement? What is our definition? And is everybody on the same page of how we are moving people through that initial process of onboarding someone for new business? And then when we're looking at account-based experience, again, how are we defining success? How are we defining the milestones and touch points where we're going to engage accounts and be aware of our accounts so that we can continue this account-based experience beyond just that initial sale, right? And so tech doesn't fix that. Tech can help us to implement and deploy, but we have to all be on the same page. And so that alignment, right? That's why I have this point here that alignment is layered, because now we get into, okay, we have alignment. We're all on the same page on strategy and on definitions, but okay, execution. Are we being realistic with our marketing operations team? Since 80% of the buying process is done before sales is getting in front of somebody in a B2B sale most of the time. How resourced is our marketing department? How realistic are we about how many ICPs we want to target and how many different buying roles and unique campaigns and retargeting efforts and different creative and media that we want to run? We want to make sure that not only are we aligned on strategy, but that we can actually execute. And then when are we iterating? What do we decide that we're iterating based on? And how are we going to continue to improve this? This is not just like anything in marketing, sales, and revenue. It's not one and done. So most of the organizations I see, we don't have these plans in place for realistic resourcing, ongoing growth and progression of the campaigns. And so we have got to make sure that in addition to that, we're thinking about the campaigns after the initial sale, or else we're missing out on the benefit of an ABM, ABS strategy, because as we all know, it is 7 times more expensive to get new business than to expand the accounts that we already have, prevent churn, all of that fun stuff.